here. I just filed a police report just to show that I report things that happen that are very uncool. And too many times in the apartment where I live and in the building, there's been like a weird electrical thing, and it's beyond like, it's not like I'm a medium or a psychic, or I actually feel harassed. I actually feel like there's a waspy buzz hornet sound that pierces my ears. It goes whizzing by. I've called electrical companies. I called even the management for my building. I talked to maintenance. They're like, well, there's no shortages, or, you know, they kind of minimize things. And it's like, you know, we were talking over 100 times that this has gone on. So I finally decided, you know, even though I do report it to agencies like the CIA, the FBI, and I was like, I'll just go to the Philadelphia Police Department, even though I haven't had success there in the past. So, because there's not much they can do. They just like take down the information. And, you know, I don't necessarily love being involved, like all having to do stuff like that. But, you know, a girl's got to save her life, because I actually feel that the harassment is so bad that, you know, no one else is going to do it. You know what I mean? So I came up here. Luckily, the police district 9, they have 6 and 9 in the same building across from my old, I used to work in this building here, and the police district is across the street. Just, you can't see it that well from here, but or the police precinct or whatever. So a woman was being handled at the window, and then another guy came out just as they were wrapping up. Oddly, that woman was from Delaware, which is where I grew up. Her woman and maybe her daughter. Anyway, a guy came out to start to take information. I was like, what if they don't do it for, because he had a little tiny piece of paper. It's like old school, little pad of paper that you, in fact, I came across one of those little tiny ruled, you know, spiral pads. My mom used to keep notes in one of those, and I came across it recently when looking up information about the deaths of my grandfather, actually, and also then my mom and aunt and dad. I was in, you know, paperwork this weekend looking for stuff. So anyway, but he jotted down like information, and I was trying to tell him, like, this thing keeps happening. I don't know where it's coming from, and no one wants to claim responsibility. Like, there's some sort of weird wire electrical issue. I even went so far as to call Texas, an electrical company in Texas, and that guy said, well, you know, they measure electricity in the air with like some sort of stick or wand, just like Ghost Nation or whatever has those EMF readers or what have you. Anyway, so at least I have like an actual report number, and Officer Jones is, you know, he has like a police badge number and everything. You know, he's like a very handsome, good-looking guy. You know, sort of, he's a cross between Adam Josephs and of the Channel 6 weather and the anchor, you know, who's been there forever, the African-American guy. So anyway, but I figured I'd come over here. This is the rail park, which is just behind the building where I first worked. Looks like wreckage from here. It's a huge, huge, huge building. It used to supposedly be a distribution center or post office many years ago. When I was there, it housed North American Publishing Company. That company has moved on around the corner to Spring Garden. But it's, you know, the company I worked for took up the front half. The back half was all like archives of magazines and stuff like that. So should I pull out the... so I have a little report, and all they do is, you know, give you a little slip of paper with like a little number on it. And that's all you can do. You know, at least it's reported more officially, as opposed to, you know, I do file with the CIA and stuff like that, but I don't know where it goes, because you don't talk to a person unless someone decides to call all of a sudden. But it can be intimidating. Like, you know, it's bringing up the fact that I experienced something so bad in 2011 that it is an actual serious, very embarrassing situation for everyone in Philadelphia who might be complicit. You know, not individual employees of different groups, but, you know, sadly, what if even the police played a hand in it? You know, some people who work for the police or whatever. So it's a thing of, you know, I don't love being around police. You know, they're supposed to be a little bit, you know, intimidating or imposing, and It's kind of weird because see all this power here, electricity and stuff. So it's kind of weird because, you know, some people see police as like Terminators or robots, and they are sort of handled a certain way, or being in that world, they're all hooked up with all that gear, so they automatically are, you know, in a way electrified. So I feel a little pull on my tooth here, but there's a power station here, and they would need that maybe for police and various other groups. But here there's like a hum. So imagine someone has the power to like redirect that to your apartment. Or they have electric chairs where they try to kill people, or, you know, where they have old school executions. These days they have the more humane lethal injection and so forth and so on. But they still use the electric chair in some places. But imagine like somebody, say you live somewhere and it was the only place you could get an apartment, and say it's a little bit rigged and they start harassing people with electricity. And you're like, how am I supposed to prove this without sounding crazy? And then most people are like, oh, whatever, like they minimize it, you know, or they say just move. But it's like, well, the point is, you know, I had a hard time finding a place and I was afraid. I had to hurry up and move here. These people approved me, so we're going with it, you know. So anyway, I feel a little bit better having an actual piece of paper as opposed to doing everything online, in case things online get sort of lost in cyberspace or what have you. All this metal here. We'll kind of go on this side to see these. We'll weave in and out. This is the rail park, as they call it. And, you know, beautiful mural there. So we'll go behind here. Take a deep breath, relax, and so forth and so on. I can hear the electricity though, so I'm kind of curious which landlords might be using it to harm people, or who's harming people with it, because it's a problem. And there might be people who can't function in life because of however electricity is handled. That's a fact. So it's like, well, how do they do that? I have no idea. I don't know either. I don't know that much either. So I was put on a certain path, so I can't, you know, deny that I wound up going to school, and that put me on a very specific path. But I struggled a lot. I had a hard time getting a leg up at all. Finally, I got a job up here, and I've been harassed ever since. So, but I learned to be really productive at some point. It's almost like, you know, whatever started in 2011 was both, it was mostly bad because I was tortured so badly. Go back? Go up this street or go? Oh, they want me to go back, so we'll get this view. Rangers, you know, down here. He's always putting on a show, so I'm trying to avoid any of that. But, anyway, we'll do front and back rail park. But point being, technically I've lived here since 2000, with a 2.5 year reprieve, or, you know, absence when I was trying to better my life in Florida, and I had to return after the deaths of